Alright guys, LocsNLoad Firearms Review is here today. I'm joined with Undead Prophet, and today we're going to talk about duty belt setups. Alright, we're going to go over our setups, why we have it, and different questions for people if you're looking to get a belt, build your belt, things that can help you when you're going about that process. So, we're going to start real quick. I'm just going to talk about my setup real quick, why I have what I have, then Eric's going to do the same, then we're going to get into the questions. So coming right off the bat, I have a two-piece belt. We'll talk more about what a two-piece is, but it's a blue Alpha Gear belt that I've had, I want to say since like 2017, 2018.
You've had it for a while.
A long time.
Definitely.
Like I've definitely had this belt for a long while. You got a Cobra buckle up front, so you got a heavy-duty security with the D-ring if you're gonna rappel and do helicopter shit, which I'm not, but it's just there for in case I do. Coming up front, on the front of my belt, I have tourniquets, both in these Kydex holders, which is heavy duty, keeps them like secure, they're not gonna fall out. And you know, like the saying, one is none, two is one. So, 2 tourniquets, and I can get to either one with both hands. Coming over to the side, I have 2 pistol mags in my S-Tac Kiwis, which is basically joined with this 1 rifle mag. Kind of comes just how this is. 2 pistol mag, 1 rifle from S-Tac Kiwi. They're my go-to mag pouches for a belt. And I have a dump pouch here that I can compact, and if I need to put extra stuff in here, I can. They got pockets here as well to hold other items. So it's a good little package, shrinks up, stays out of the way. Next, I have this double rifle mag pouch. It's a rifle mag pouch, but sometimes I use it as a GP. I can put my phone in here, I can put a water bottle in here, I can put a multi-tool in here, I can put whatever I kind of need to in here. And also if I need to up the ante with ammunition, say we're about to do a certain drill, I can put 2 rifle mags in here as well. So it's more of a GP pouch, but again, it's just there to put whatever I need, and I like it. On this side, I have a flashlight that's from PowerTech. And this is good because, again, not every time are you supposed to be using your weapon light, or do you want to use a weapon light. Sometimes it's good just to have a handheld just to see certain daily task items. Read a map, look into a room, look through your pack. So it's always good to have a handheld. On the back, I have this knife in the sheath, which is not for fighting. I'm not looking to get a knife fight. I'm not tactical Goku.
If you got a pokey poke stabby stab.
Exactly. This is more for, it's like a tool. Field use, cutting through things, prying open things.
It definitely helped on the woods walk.
That too, and one thing I do like about this, I got it from Amazon, so thank you, Eric. You can get this knife on Amazon. One thing I like about it is a full, solid piece of metal, and so you know you get a nice sturdy knife, and it comes with a sheath with a belt clip. So it mounts here on the back, and it stays on the way, and I can get in and out of vehicles no problem. Down here on the bottom, got my Roll 1 medical med pouch. I can pull from either side and deploy the meds inside, and also does not impede me getting in and out of vehicles, and I like it as well. Over here, my Safariland holster, I keep my Glock 45 9mm with X300 Ultra, and you know I'm rocking Glock 17 mag and Glock 19X mags with 19 rounds in my spare. Because I feel like if you're gonna have to reload, why go with the standard mag? You might as well start, up in the ante, because shit has obviously hit the fan if I gotta reload my pistol. If I have to draw my pistol from my duty belt when I got a rifle and a plate carrier, shit has hit the fan. If I gotta reload, shit is seriously hitting the fan.
Even if you gotta do a tack reload.
Like, that's what I'm saying. So things have gone left. And you see I've taped and used other tape because the electrical tape is kind of shiny. So I put this elastic tape on here to kind of keep that down, and also add some more security to my tourniquet holder up front. And I got my leg strap to keep this secure. So that's my setup. And Eric,
cool.
What's yours?
All right, so my setup is kind of similar to Thompson's. There's just a couple things that's a little bit different. So same thing, I am running actually the Faro Concepts Bison belt. I like this belt because it's a little bit thinner than what other belts are out there. As we kind of go through this video, we'll explain as far as the different sizes of belts that are out there. But I'm running the Faro Bison because I absolutely love the design. I have a Cobra buckle on the front. It's not the same as this Cobra buckle as far as the weight rating. Can I repel from this? Maybe, but I'm not sure. But at the same time, it's not one of those things I'm really worried about. Then going along, just a carabiner attached to the D-ring with my gloves, because gloves are just a utilitarian thing. You might need to pick up some range wood or, move some things, or when you're going through the woods, you don't want to get your hands all cut up from thorns and thistles.
Exactly.
So then, same thing like Thomas, I'm running the S-Tac Kiwis, 2 pistol, 1 rifle. I'm actually going to be switching these suckers out to either just another S-Tac Kiwis, or I might actually go with the Haley Strategic pistol and rifle mags. I know for a fact I'm going to go to the rifle one for sure. Then as we move along, I have my dump pouch here. So reason being I have my dump pouch here is because it's a belt loop dump pouch. And kind of like Thomas, it's more of a utilitarian thing. I'll put extra guns in here. I'll put snacks. I'll put water bottles. I'll put ammo. I'll put magazines.
Whatever you don't want to carry.
Yeah, it's basically if you don't want to carry it, throw it in the dump pouch. That's all what the dump pouch is there for. In fact, I believe Leo's even use it for an evidence collection device. Then I have this double pistol pouch by USGI, and this is mainly just a utilitarian pouch too. I'll put a multi-tool in here and a flashlight. I put, whenever I do competition, I'll put my start out magazine here, so that way I'm not pulling from either of my reload mags in the front of where my carrier is. Again, it's just a pouch to just hold something that I don't want to hold. And then as we go along, I am actually running the T-Rex Arms Med 1 pouch, and I will definitely say I hate it to death for every reason why Thomas has the Roll 1. So if you're getting in and out of vehicles, this pouch, and I love what it's for, and I like how it's designed because I can put it on other things, which is what this is gonna end up doing. But when I sit in a vehicle, I end up doing one of these motions because my lumbar is getting a little too much support. This kind of widens everything instead of it being just one block. And then usually I have something here, but for right now, this is just a dead space, which I'm comfortable and fine with being a dead space. Oh, going back to my med pouch real quick, I keep a tourniquet underneath here. So kind of like Thomas, there's 2 tourniquets, which you'll see the first one that I would go to, but this is my backup tourniquet. And then lastly, my gun and holster setup. I'm running the Safariland drop leg with the flex. Going back to, again, cars, kind of trying to get in of a vehicle. This holster tends to ride and sit weird with me, so that's why I ended up going with the flex. And I am running the Glock 45 with a Harrington Arms comp, Surefire X300 Ultralight, and Trenchcon armor. And the last thing that I have on my belt, which is probably one of the coolest things, is my Soil Eater Gear tourniquet holder. So I went with this one because, one, the design of it ends up taking up a dead space on my belt that I wouldn't have any other purpose for it. It would just be an empty space. So since it's an empty space, I might as well fill it with something that is logical and I would use in an emergency. So a tourniquet holder was the most logical thing. Then what I really like about this tourniquet holster is the fact that I have a pen holder at the top of it. So I use actually this marker holder more than anything else on this belt because if I'm, marking targets or stuff, boom, I got a place to put this marker. And in the event that I do have to deploy this tourniquet, I at least now have a writing utensil to put, the time on here. Normally the Sharpie is black. I was doing teaching with this belt, so I swapped that out from a black one to a red one. But yeah, that's pretty much my belt setup.
All right. So again, kind of mirror the same concept. Again, you don't need a world of things on your belt unless you're about to do a lot, but we'll get into that. And so now we have 7 questions that we feel like someone who building a belt or looking to build a belt.
FAQs, so to speak.
Exactly, just questions people might have. So the first question, why would I need something like this?
Yeah, this is a lot. There's a lot of stuff on here. There's a lot of gadgets and doodads going on.
All right, so mainly this is just another way to supplement your fighting gear, or just simply a way to carry items that you need without it being on your hands. And being on your hips is a good way to carry items efficiently and effectively. Right, especially with something like this. This is not too heavy. You can carry this for a distance 10 miles, trust me. So you can definitely carry this at least 10 miles. And it's a good way, again, to carry a backup weapon, extra ammunition for, like, if you have a long gun. Again, this doesn't have to be tactical like we were talking about. It can be for hunting. So now you can carry, a secondary sidearm, medical in case you get hurt, ammunition for your sidearm and your hunting rifle. Maybe carry some extra things, gloves, a rangefinder, things like that. Just different things you might need. But basically, it's just a simple way for you to carry items that you need without it being in your hands or on your upper body. All right. So, how do you feel about that question?
No, I think it's a good question that a lot of people have, especially with the oversaturation of the market as far as all these different belts and Twizzlers and all that jazz. But that's always usually the first thing is asking yourself, why do I need a system like this, whether it be a two-piece or a one-piece?
Exactly. So always a good question to ask yourself, why do I need this? Like I always say, you are the weapon. This is just a tool. So how is this tool going to enhance the weapon? It's
just a piece of scuba webbing and nylon. That's all it is. So next question was, what primary items do I need?
All right, exactly. Good question. So if you're setting up a pistol belt, well, obviously you're gonna need a pistol.
That part.
Right off the bat. But that does not mean you need a pistol. Now, if you're going for more like an LBE type setup, like if you're hunting and you don't necessarily need a pistol, you got your rifle. Well, you don't have to. Well, then it's just, again,
it's a nice to have, but not a need to have.
Exactly. It's a good place to put a pistol. If no one's ever said, when they need a pistol, like, damn, I wish I didn't have a pistol.
That part.
So, to me, one of the primary things you need on a belt is a pistol. So that's right off the bat. Secondly, if you plan on shooting, plan on getting shot. So you're gonna need medical. Somehow put medical on here. Again, if you're carrying a sidearm, maybe you don't need 2 mags, maybe 1 mag. I would suggest a spare mag. So you're looking at a pistol, medical, spare ammunition, and I would say some utilitarian type items, like a flashlight, maybe a knife, or a multi-tool.
The flashlight is definitely the most slept on item.
Exactly.
I would say that. Because there's a lot of things that, and not only just because we shoot night vision, but even just low light stuff, it's very valuable to have a handheld light to be able to look on the ground to find a magazine, or to walk up and observe your target with a buddy, or there's so many different things that a flashlight, a handheld light like that on your belt, it's so valuable.
Exactly, and like you said, people do sleep on it because they were thinking about the weapon light. Well, you can't always use your weapon light. Again, you're not going to be in combat, even if you are in a combat zone. You're not going to be in combat 24/7. There's going to be a lot of down periods of just lull, or periods where you might have to eat, or you might have to find a place to take a shit. All right, simple, basic, mundane. You might have to fix a vehicle. So having a good spare backup, having a good light that you can use with your hand or place down somewhere, to just do everyday utilitarian items is, I think, important.
Yeah, and we're not saying go and buy, a $400 mod light flashlight. What's that? $60 light on Amazon?
It's less than $100.
It's less than $100. Like, it doesn't have to. It can be if you want it to be,
exactly.
But it doesn't have to be. It's a tool. It is a search tool, like a screwdriver.
Right. So certain tools you definitely have in your belt, like multi-tool. I can put a multi-tool in my dump pouch over here, but again, like Eric has a dedicated pouch for his multi-tool, or you can put a light in there. I just think a multi-tool on your belt is honestly, again, another.
A multi-tool is actually more
item.
Important than a flashlight, to be honest.
Because again, if you're thinking, let's say we are talking about the tactical world, you're not going to be wanting to wear a plate carrier all the time. Even if you do have a chest rig, you're not going to want to wear a chest rig all the time. You're still going to want to have some type of way if an ambush happened, you can still, make contact, get back to your gear. So having a belt, is again, answers that question, why do you need a belt? It's another line of gear to have.
That part.
But basically, yes, pistol, ammo, medical, important tools. Now, do you need a dump pouch? Not necessarily. Some people go back and forth about what they need a dump pouch for. Again, that's up to you, what your mission is. Obviously, me and Eric think having a dump pouch.
I will definitely say it is a 100% nice to have.
Yeah.
And it borderlines on a need to have. I will say that. Because there's certain situations where, like if you're doing a static drill, you can load up, especially if you're running Glock, you can load up 5 magazines, throw them all in your dump pouch, and stand there on the flat range and do your drills right there. You don't have to go back and walk and go reload magazines. That's a plus. But it's a financial investment via if you're setting up your belt that you got to dedicate to. So, like I said, it's a very nice to have. Is it a need to have? We're on the borderline of that. At least that's my opinion.
I would say, especially if you're doing movement drills like how we're doing mounting drills, and you're moving and you got to reload, it's
and
a
you
good
have
place.
to retain your magazines.
Exactly, it's a good place to retain it because I know certain drills we do, we might just let it hit the ground.
Y'all
But
ever
if
notice
this is real life, you're not gonna be at least you don't want to just be dropping the magazines on the ground, because again, how you gonna reload that magazine when it's back there? You're not going back to get it, especially if you're breaking contact at exfil. You're not going back to get it.
Think about that whole scene in Heat when they were just going down the street, just firing rounds and stuff. Those magazines are still good as far as the magazines are empty. You just got to put more bullets in them, but they just reloading, throw them on the ground.
Exactly.
You got to have a way to retain your magazines.
And that's a movie, so you got to think about their situation. They're just going back into civilian, right, to hide. So they
don't need to retain them magazines.
Exactly, they don't need to retain the mags. But you, if you're in, like, let's say, life or liberty situation, like, whatever it may be, domestic or foreign, whatever the fuck, you're going to want to retain your mags because you're not going to know if you're going to be able to get more. So get way that dump pouch is good. Then again, like I said, it's just good to carry extra shit. So.
And then let's talk about your knife. Just another tool.
Okay, yeah. I mean, again, another tool just to pry things open, cut things through. Again, like let's say, if you was trying to get through a window, you just put it through a little crack and pop it open, right? You can get in.
That's one of the reasons why having a full tang knife, regardless of whether or not you put it on your belt or on any of your kit, that is the best solution because if you need to, like you said, you need to pry open a window, if you need to jimmy open something, you need a full tang so that you don't snap that blade and you get a half-inch piece of metal.
And it's kind of thick as well. So
it is thick. It's a thick boy.
Again, like you said, it's not meant for fighting. It's just another tool.
It's a stout knife.
Right.
Very stout.
That's why I have it. It's just a good place to have it, and it marries well in the belt, and it stays out of the way. All right. So again, well, I don't want to say again. Moving on to the next question. Those are the primary things that you should have on a belt: ammo, pistol, medical, important tools. Right, and everything else is just kind of just adds on to your certain mission. All right. So question number 3: a 2-piece belt versus a 1-piece belt. So I put this question on here because if you're looking for a belt, you're brand new, you don't know, you're going to come into 2 different type of belts. A 2-piece belt, which is a belt like what we have, where it comes with this inner liner. This is what goes through your belt loop on your pants, whatever pants you're wearing. This goes through your belt loops, and you see how it's got the soft Velcro part over here. And then on the inner side of your outer belt, you have the other side of the Velcro that will marry to that and provide a very secure connection to your belt. So when you're running, you're moving, it's not gonna be sloshing and moving around on you, right? So that's the pros of a 2-piece. But the thing is, it kind of gets in the way if you're wearing a big jacket. Now this is gonna kind of get in the way because now the jacket's gonna have to overhang this stuff, or you're gonna have to try to tuck it in. Because this is gonna be like right there glued to your hips, and that big jacket is gonna get in the way. Now, when you come to a 1-piece belt like this, as you can see, you can still have all your items on here, but it goes around everything. So if you have like a poncho, a winter jacket, some type of large jacket like that, this goes around all your clothing layer, then connects to it, and then you can use this as your belt. Now, so that's the pros of a one-piece belt. You can wear it over whatever type of gear or clothing you're wearing, but this does not provide as secure of a connection as this two-piece. So this can start to slosh around and move when you're starting running and moving and changing different positions. So that's my down and dirty of a two-piece versus one-piece. Again, you gotta look at what you want. Are you the type of person who lives in like a cold place or it's always raining, you're constantly changing clothing layers, then you might wanna go with a one-piece belt. But if you're kind of not like Florida where it's just hot all the time, then you can go with a two-piece belt. So.
And then the only thing that I'm gonna add to it, because I mean, a two-piece versus one-piece, that's very self-explanatory. Or at the very least, Thomas, you did a good job explaining that. But the other thing that you can do that actually HSGI makes, they make a belt pad, because this is basically a belt pad system here, where he has taken a Cobra belt and weaved through it so that all of this is one system. HSGI actually makes just this neoprene pad here that you can attach to some of these two-piece systems like this, so that you can have that neoprene on the outside, so you can throw your belts on the outside if you need to. And kind of like Thomas was talking, the benefits of these two-piece systems like this is that you can have it attached to your belt line, and it's a little bit more secure because it's loop Velcro attaching to hook, and it's all in one system like that. But if you're wearing something, again, like a hoodie, a jacket, a zip up, something like that, it does get a little uncomfortable, and it does impede with your mags, because it kind of tends to bunch up if you just have it sitting and trying to, like, you know, maneuver everything out the way. Then obviously if you have your jacket over it, you can't get to your mags. So then the only logical thing is to tuck your sweatshirt inside, but with this bipolar Jacksonville weather,
right,
you know, it'll be freezing cold for like 5 minutes, and then the sun come out, and now we're experiencing global boiling. So definitely do your research. I advocate having kind of both. So that's why I really like these two-piece systems like this, because ever since that neoprene pad came out, I bought one and I slapped it on there, and it's like, cool. When it's winter woods walks, I can run my belt and not have to worry about my jacket now.
And one thing I do want to add about two-piece versus one-piece, pros and cons. So when it comes to the two-piece, they can hold like a substantial amount of weight, like all this gear fine, but there's a certain point where, like, if you put too much crap on the outer belt, it will start to sag, and it won't have a secure connection to fall. So another pro and con of the two-piece. Now, if you're the type of person that says, I need to carry a lot of just shit, right, where this two-piece is not gonna work, one of the benefits of a one-piece belt like this is that, you see I connected it to an H harness. So I basically made an LBE. Yeah. And so with this H harness connection, where I'm able to distribute some of the weight to my shoulders and all that, it allows me to carry a lot more pouches and gear, a lot more shit, more efficiently, right?
And it's comfortable.
That too.
It's comfortable, because that's the other thing when it comes to, and that's why Thomas did this load-bearing equipment thing. Right. Once when you start loading up these belts, it does get uncomfortable depending on where you have your pouches placed and what those pouches are. So that's why we kind of try to keep the belts a little bit slick and simple, because like Thomas said, we done took these on woods walks going, you know, 10 miles.
Miles, right.
And eventually it won't happen in mile 2, it won't happen in mile 3, but mile 6 and mile 7, you're gonna start feeling something. And if your kid is not in a certain place and it starts to give you a hot spot, you will know.
Right, so again, just more options for you to think of. If you know, hey, this is just a range belt or just a quick duty belt, just a way to supplement my chest rig or plate carrier, you know, you're just gonna do one of these, then two-piece might be the way to go. But if you're saying, hey, I need to carry like, not only like a fighting load,
20 magazines, or 3 days worth of food and water. Right,
it's sustainment. Like if you're, like I say, if you're hunting, this is probably where I would go if I was hunting. If you're going out for like a day, 1 to 3 days, this is where I would go with. because it allows you to carry everything because you're hunting, so you don't need a shit ton of ammo.
And it also allows you to carry stuff if you get into an emergency when
Right.
you're hunting.
Right, again, so you can carry all your hunting equipment, you can carry medical, you can carry a pouch, you can carry a small tent, you can carry a cooking stove in here. You can carry all of that navigation, land nav, or sustainment items in this butt pack. You can even have backpacks, just to supplement that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can be out there for literally 3 days or more with just this one belt kit.
We should try that.
Exactly, right? And so just different setups for you to think about. If it's something quick, down and dirty, you're just gonna spend the day at the range, this where you wanna go. But if you're gonna be out there for a while, then you definitely probably won't look at that. So 2-piece versus 1-piece.
Next thing.
All right, number 4. All right, so like I said, with these pistol belts, you're gonna have a pistol. And so where you put this pistol on your belt is also, up to you and depending on what you wanna do. So you have 3 primary places of carrying a pistol. You got it right here on the belt on your hip. You have what I think me and Eric have is a mid-ride, where it's just
You have the mid-ride. Mine is a little bit lower-ish, but same concept.
mid-ride-ish, right?
Yeah.
Right in there, right between, not on the thigh, but right pretty much in between the hip and the thigh, in that little area.
I'll stand up in this area.
Right in that area. And then you have the old school drop leg. Now, if you look at like the 1980s, where they got the holster right down the thigh, or not even the 80s. When I was in the Navy in 2012, I think it's 2014.
Where it's like right near your near kneecap.
Right there on your thigh and flopping around every time you move. So you have those 3 places, and each place has its reasons why. So if you're wearing square up on your hip, now that's usually, if this is just a range belt. I'm not wearing a plate carrier, I'm not wearing anything above on my chest to impede with this holster or the holster draw. So carrying on your hip is fine, right? If you're just looking at it as a range duty belt. Now, if you plan on wearing a plate carrier or a chest rig or something up there, then you definitely want to give yourself some type of space or a little bit more access to draw that pistol. So that's where the mid-rides, what we have, come in. Because it centers the pistol just a little bit lower than the hip line. So all this stuff, all the pouches, everything on your plate carrier.
So you ain't gotta do one of these motions.
Right, you ain't gotta do all that. It allows you to have a natural draw because it's just a little bit further down to clear that space, right? So that's mid-ride. So if you're wearing a plate carrier, something like that, I suggest mid-ride. I'm sure Eric is the same right in that area.
I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna end up saying the same thing. Yeah. Mid-ride. It's definitely a good staple, especially if you don't know. I like the mid-ride because it drops the holster, and I'm talking as far as me and Thomas have a difference in wingspan. So that's one of the reasons why I almost have no choice but to go to a mid-ride, because whenever I go to index for the gun, if it's just on my hip, I'm doing like a chicken wing kind of motion and then just trying to pull the gun out of the holster. I'm very much over rotating, like kind of like this, trying to get the gun out. Versus if it's dropped down a little bit, I can naturally have my arms in the position and my shoulder where I need it to be. So all I gotta do is just reach back, grab my gun, and I can present forward. So mid-ride is definitely, if you don't know, just try that first and then go from there.
Yeah, I definitely suggest mid-ride. It's kind of like my go-to for all that. Whether I do arm security, mid-ride, range belt, mid-ride.
I know a lot of videos that just they got the mid-ride and that's all they've been rolling with.
Yeah. And also, if you're doing vehicle work as well, having a gun right there on your hip sucks even worse. Even mid-ride in the vehicle sucks, but having it on your hip sucks even worse.
That part.
Right now,
that's why, again, I went with the flex, because as you guys can kind of see, I can take this holster and rotate it like that because of that flexibility in there. Now, the only thing I am concerned about, which I won't lie, is how this mounts. I'm nervous of one day this will rip the bolts out of the holster, out of the shroud or whatever.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah. Between that and the QLS, just because it's just bolts and stuff sandwiched together. But I doubt, this has been holding up just fine.
I guess keep extra bolts just in case.
Yeah, like how that detaches, that's been just fine. It's gotten loose every so often, but that's only because I never Loctited it.
Oh, there you go.
That's the issue. Once you Loctite it, I don't think that'll be an issue.
Right. And lastly, drop leg. Now, for the most part, we don't speak on drop leg around here, right? Drop leg, it died in the early 2000s, right? And now we moved on to better things, so we don't speak on it. But if we do have to go to drop leg, I would say the one place where drop leg will shine is if you are doing something like this. Again, with the LBE one-piece belt kit style. I suggest, because as you can see right here, I can mount a pistol right here, but then the actual pistol grip will kind of get in the way of the pouch. So having a drop leg, steering it a little bit lower, allows you to clear this area and still have a good draw. Now it might move around on you, but it provides somewhat of a secure way to have a pistol on your kit. Now it's not the best way in my eyes, but if you just absolutely need a pistol, which I think you do on any type of belt kit, but that's just me, fuck it, drop leg is better than nothing.
You said drop leg is better than nothing.
Right, so.
What do you have on there, the mid-ride, correct?
Yeah, this is just another mid-ride. I just put it on here to kind of show, but definitely I'm looking to get a drop leg.
You should just do that.
Because, let's see.
Yeah.
Turn this bad boy out.
And as you guys can see, even though we're doing, and I was telling Thomas this earlier, even though we're doing the video again, it's a good update to show you guys, that kit is always evolving, how we're always thinking about, how our stuff is, it's always evolving, so.
Right. And so you see, like, this pouch is blowed out.
Mm-hmm.
This could kind of cause interference. Now, if you don't care so much, it's like, okay, I'm not looking to sub 1 second draw my pistol. Fine. It's not a huge issue. But again, if you had a drop leg, maybe you could add an extra pouch here or something. Just things to think about. But, that's just how I have it set up. It's not complete. I just brought this as a representation so you guys can kind of see the difference between the belt setups.
See, we're always working on stuff, guys.
Yeah.
We're always working on stuff.
Always working. So, I don't know, you got anything else to add about those three hip?
Nope, as far as between hip, now I will add, because it's funny that I'm looking at your LBE, I think to solve the problem that you're looking for, going with this would work, because all of this part would attach onto the belt.
I was looking at that too as well.
And then because it's adjustable.
Yeah, so you put it down just a little bit further.
So you can do it on the low ride.
I might look at that, yeah.
And you have flexibility. So see, look, even Thomas found a new solution just by doing this.
I've seen them, I just,
I would do it that way because I don't. So one of the rules that I learned when it comes to setting up this holster, as far as the height, if you're standing up and you can't cup with your hand the bottom of your holster is too low. So I'll stand up and represent. So how my hand is right here, that's where my bone is. If I can't cup my holster like this, it's sitting too low. Because some people, they'll get those drop legs and drop them really, really low, and you gotta reach all the way down this way to grab the gun now, and that's just wasted motion. But next question,
different setups.
Just different setups.
All right, so again, like I said, not everything has to be tactical. Oh my God, what the fuck? The Russians are here, or this is it. The whatever insert political party is taking over, and now it's time to go outside.
It's time to go play outside.
Right. So again, different setups. So me and Eric's belt setups is a merriment between basically us being instructors and us doing the short bus tactical shooting. Right. So again, this belt is designed for, or at least set up for that in mind. So again, this belt is set up for sustainment. As you can see, I only have a little bit of just one rifle mag. Right. This belt is not made, for me to carry. I mean, I can if I wanted to, but it's not meant for me to carry a whole fighting load on it. It's meant for me to carry my sustainment items. Right. And so this is basically, my mindset with this is to add a chest rig up top that will carry a fighting load. So down here is just sustainment.
That part.
So,
like you said, he's gonna put a tent in there. I think you can actually, your E-tool would have to go into a backpack. You wouldn't be able to put it there.
Then, like I said, just a backpack. Now I have plenty of room on my back for it.
But still, the fact that you can fit a tent, water filtration system,
all that. But again, that could be for hunting, or you could be an avid hiker, camper, right? But it still allows you to carry, that fire starter kit, your gloves, like he's talking about, an E-tool, a spare firearm, you know, maybe a water filtration kit, a canteen and stuff, all on your hips, on your body, and your hands are free, and you're not carrying that all over your, you know, wearing your back out. So different setups, you know, different strokes for different folks. So again, not everything has to be tactically minded, but I definitely think having a belt kit in your arsenal is important. All right, I would say like a plate carrier first, then a belt kit, because you know in my mind you have your concealed carry pistol, so you can still carry with a plate carrier, right? But
it's uncomfortable. It would be weird, but you can get it done.
Right, you can get by, but definitely having a belt kit is, you know, primo. So with that being said, what is the price of a good belt? Right, because I look on Amazon there and I see all these all this belt does this and that. You know, it's like
for $98 and 20-something cents,
or,
and then you get it
like
all out.
$25 type shit, or you know, or even what about surplus belts? The USGI belts, the belts that the military is wearing. It worked for them. Why can't it work for me? And then it's at an affordable price. So that. Don't get me wrong. Those old school belts work. Obviously, if they went to war and they're for the U.S. Marines,
and they came back and it's still in good condition after being in a war zone, and they're selling it to you. Right. That's your choice.
We're going to talk more. We're going to do a chest rig video just like this, right? Because that's when I think the surplus market really starts to shine. But for a belt kit, again, yeah, you can't get you like this USGI belt or something of the line for kind of cheaper than these specialized two-piece belts. And again, they will hold your gear. Yeah, might just not be the most high-speed, thinnest, lightweight package, but again, it'll work. You just have to make sure it's a good brand. Like even Condor, don't get me wrong, Condor will fucking work. Condor has killed a lot of people.
Condor is slept on.
Right.
Condor as a company, as a brand, they are slept on. They make some I don't know whether or not it's a QC thing or a changing of hands in manufacturing, but at some point, Condor's products, when they started coming out that factory,
right.
I haven't been able to test everything, but some of the stuff that we've been able to get.
I think a lot of people add, granted, being combat tested or combat proven or combat rated, whatever, I think a lot of people add too much emphasis to that, because we got to think there's a lot of people going to combat in fucking Adidas sneakers, right? And like the fucking just average. An
Adidas tracksuit is technically is a combat uniform, and it is battle.
Think about it. Think of the combat history of blue jeans. Like Navy SEALs used to wear fucking blue jeans to go on raiding missions in Vietnam.
They're not ready for that one.
Right, so does that mean blue jeans is combat rated? I mean, they're looking at the Middle East.
It's assault. It's assault clothing.
Right, exactly. There's a lot of people kicking ass right now in blue jeans. So
Patagonia is an assault company. They just don't want to admit it.
Right, but again, you don't need to spend top line. I think again, me and Eric, you know, we like the finer things, and we're kind of more specialized in what we do. So we buy our gear. Trust me, we didn't just buy this shit overnight. We have put weeks, probably months of thinking into the shit we buy, you know.
And I think that's a good thing, especially because we're talking about price, right? Because even the gear that we have on the table, like taking our guns away from the equation, and just using the holsters and everything attached, that's like at least like almost $1,000 sitting on the table, just about.
I don't know about that. No,
between our pouches, the holsters, the belts themselves, the magazines, we are at the very least we're north of 500. We're definitely north of 500.
I'll give you the north of 500.
But definitely because all of these things cost, and whenever we look at any of this stuff, we'll look at it and compare it to other stuff that's on the market. Because just like I said earlier, the market is saturated with all these different belts, these two-piece belts, one-piece belts, this belt that has like a laser pointer attached to it, this one that gives you Twizzlers and Skittles every time you hit an A zone. Like, it's so saturated, it's not even funny.
And they all do the same thing.
Yeah, and because it's saturated, you have a lot of really good quality stuff, but you also have a lot of people who are cloning and making, you know, stuff that's subpar. Right. I will say there are a couple things. As far as, because at the end of the day, these are just nylon.
And again, this is some tactical, like everything, again, tactical, life and liberty type of shit. It has to work.
That part. Like,
It
if you
cannot
need to rappel, yes, then this might be important for you. But if you
Or
don't
even,
need to
even
do
more
that-
simple than this, you just need this connection to stay connected. If this breaks
Yeah.
and is not connected, then literally the whole belt doesn't mean shit.
that part.
So like, if your molly loops or straps start to rip and your pouches start to hang off, the effectiveness of your belt is going down. So you need your items to, like, no bullshit work. Like I said, I've had this since 2017, 18, and you've seen all the shit I have done, and this belt is still here.
And I've had, this is now my second two-piece belt. I have a Ronin Cinchi Task Force belt that's in multicam black. I still use that belt. The only reason why I switched from that belt to this is for comfort that I was trying to gain. Going back again to the sizes of these belts, this is a 1 3/4 inch belt, and because that's a little bit thinner, so it attaches and mates to my Velcro a lot better than my Cinchi, which was a 2-inch belt. Nothing wrong with it. I still, even today, I still use it. It's actually, I converted it to an airsoft belt, so it only has pistol mount mags on there, a holster. Actually, it's just a mid ride with the QLS system, so I can stick this holster into that belt, and that's it, because I'm just playing airsoft. Like, I don't even need medical, because there's actual medical people there. Why do I need to do a job that somebody literally gets paid to do?
Right. And I guess just to answer the question, how much did you spend on your belt? Full disclosure, this belt was sent to me years ago for my YouTube channel, but the price of the belt was like north of 130, but south of 180.
I think, because I actually looked on Blue Alpha Gear's website recently. It's like, for the system that he has, which comes with the inner belt, and it's the outer belt, I believe it's,
and
depending on what,
and the D-ring.
Yeah, because there's different versions. He has the D-ring one, and this is the regular Molly cut, not the laser cut, because we have a new belt now, if you didn't see it.
Yeah, no. So again, like I said, be honest, again,
it's like 129, it's like 130.
Right.
It's not that bad. For what you're getting and the quality, it's really not that bad.
Right, so if you look at Eric's belt, yes, it's thinner. It's a lot thinner. Like, you can look at mine and tell mine's a lot thicker, but like I said,
but it costs twice as much.
It's like getting a vehicle.
Yeah.
Do you have to get the newest vehicle that always comes out? Like, especially the vehicle you got runs fine, really has no issues, it takes care of you. And so that's basically where it comes down to. Once you find a good belt, you don't need to keep buying this belt, that belt. You know, just stick with that belt. Like I said, I got my Blue Alpha. I've been rocking with it over 5 years now. You know, so
I make fun of the inner belt for the Velcro. It's like, Jesus Christ, like a stud.
And that's the only thing. If I ever want to do anything, I just replace the inner belt, and then it's fine. You know, if I wear this out, because I wore out the other one. The Blue Alpha sent me a new one.
Yeah, shout out to Blue Alpha Gear.
Right.
Very, very great customer service.
Right, and also with this inner belt, I can wear it as a concealed carry. I've done it before where I can carry my gun.
Funny thing is, I'm actually wearing it.
Right, and then he's wearing his. So that goes into, I don't know, did I put this before?
Well, the segue, just real quick, it's only gonna take me 30 seconds. But their Blue Alpha Gear's inner belt, you can use it as an EDC belt. So what I did was I just bought their EDC belt like this with the Velcro. So that way, not only am I always having my EDC belt to carry my gun, if I need to go to the range, I already have this on my body, and I'll just slap this on my body, I'm good to go. I was gonna do it in the video, but I wasn't really too worried about it, but you guys get the point. So then once when I'm done, just rip this belt off, throw it in the trunk, and I still got my carry belt ready to go. In the perfect tension around my waist.
Right, and that too, so again, if somehow an active shooter situation happened, now you have a way, you already got the inner belt, take your outer belt, and we get to your car in time, throw this on, now you have a up the ante types.
Basically.
So,
Basically.
no, if you just one of those people, right? If you just want to rock right like that, you can. Or if you are, say, like you're a farmer, or right, you're just tending to your crops, you know, you're just out in the field, let's say you do see some type of nuisance animal, somebody trespassing on your property, now slap on your outer belt, now you go out and confront that threat, who is trespassing on your property. Or you might not need a whole fucking rifle.
There's
right?
a snake in my boot.
Exactly, you know, but you do have a pistol, you have medical, and you know, you got extra ammunition, right? And you go out there and see who you need to see. So, prices of a good belt. You don't have to spend a lot. Like me and Eric spent less than $200. And like
I will say I definitely spent a little bit more, but that's because
never mind.
yeah, because I will say the Pharaoh Bison belt is twice as much as this. It's like 2 something. But
I was actually looking at getting one, but this
I
blue
did.
out, blue
Let
out
me be
done so
clear.
well, it's hard for me to.
Let me be clear. The only reason why I paid that price
This is a lot lighter. Now.
it's because I got a comfort value out of this that I wasn't achieving, especially with these thicker belt buckles like this. As y'all can see, mine's a little bit thinner. And what my issue was when I laid in prone, the top portion of this belt buckle would dig into my stomach when I got into prone. And it was extremely uncomfortable. God forbid if I had to hit the deck, oh God, it just sucked. So having a belt like that, that's why I did that.
Yeah, it's the only notepad I can find in here. All right, last and not least, number 7. This is gonna be a long video, but it's a lot of good information.
It's good info.
You just honestly can't just put this information in like a 60-second short. You just can't. All right, number 7, last and least. Now, most people who are gonna wear a belt, they're mostly talking about the tactical world. But even if they're not, even if you go hiking or hunting, wearing a belt with other gear. Right? This has to work in conjunction with your other gear. So again, like I said, if you're not tactically minded thinking, you're thinking like practical, right? Hunting, hiking. If you carrying a rucksack, this belt is gonna have to be not getting in the way of shit, right? Or any type, like if you carrying a rifle or any type of thing you need, this belt has to work in conjunction with that other item. Plate carriers, right? Tactical world. If you got a belt, you're gonna have to make sure that you don't have any pouches on your chest or your plate carrier that's gonna impede your draw, impede your magazine pulls. All right, it's not gonna be in the way of like sitting on your tourniquet. Now you're sitting there fucked up trying to bleed, but you got your Spirit Systems GP tall packed full of shit with your nose and you can't get that tourniquet out.
Move out the way, PVS 14.
Right, it sucks again if you got that Spirit GP tall pouch sitting there in the perfect location holding all your perfect recce shit, right? And you're trying to get that extra mag out of your pistol and you're watching this guy walking down and you can't get it because it's in the way. That sucks, right? You don't want to go out like that.
Exactly. You don't want to stand at St. Peter's Gate watching your kill cam.
All right. So again, if you're going to wear a belt and you're going to wear other items of the kit as well, make sure these items work together. They need to flow seamlessly. All right. You got to be able to draw that pistol as if you're not wearing a plate carrier or a chest rig or a fucking huge ass rucksack.
That part.
Right.
Definitely the rucksack part. Because I would definitely add, kind of going back with the med pouches. One of the reasons why I definitely like to roll one over the T-Rex, because I'm running
Keeps it out of the way.
It keeps it out of the way, especially because I'm running the 511, just the 24-hour pack. When I finally get it onto my back and my shoulders and I cinch the straps so that it actually stays a little bit more on this plane of my back, it does feel comfortable, but as I'm walking, I can feel the top of this pouch bumping up into that backpack. So that's why I do see a lot of guys kind of keep their back slick. And it's for injury reasons. Like if you have something hard here, just think about it. If you take a spill or a fall from a 1-story or even a 2-story building and you fall on your back, you putting all that right there and translating that to your back. Just saying, there's a lot of dudes that got messed up backs like that.
All right, then you got to think about the comfort level. You got something on your back pressing into your back, and every time you just take a step, that's bam, hitting you in the back, hitting your back. That's gonna suck if you got like a 10-mile hike.
Mm-hmm. Right? And you get a for where you're already walking on uneven ground. Mm-hmm. You got to go through water, thorns, and thistles. It sucks.
Yeah. So even if you do something like this, you can still have to make sure that this setup works in conjunction with whatever type of kit you're carrying. So, just a lot of things to think about. When you're playing this game, there is no easy way.
And last thing, make sure it's secure.
Right, that too.
You know how many of these things?
Oh yeah.
You know how many of these things we don't lose?
Yeah, I used to have a night when my tourniquet was, I used to have a pyramid.
You know how many of these things we don't lost in the woods?
And they fall off, definitely. So.
Kind of the reason why I'm going back. Like, I lost the P10 back, and now I'm sad.
Yeah. So definitely, have a way to secure your items. Like if you like it, make sure it's secured in a way that it's not gonna get lost. But like I said, I'm taking this in the woods, but that's why I'm building this kind of LVE setup, more for that longer range type deal. And this is kind of more of short range, like training type shit. So, any final words?
Get out and train, because at the end of the day, you can set all this stuff up. You can go and buy the most Gucci high-speed belt on the planet Earth, but if you don't know, one, how to set it up, two, how to set it up and make it work for you and your skill set,
don't mean shit.
It doesn't mean anything.
The guy rocking this old school 1980s
old school GI stuff,
Alice kid will whoop your ass because he trains and you don't.
Because he out there doing purposeful training once a week, and yeah, that's how he's nasty and gangster. But yeah, you got to get out and train with the stuff. And definitely don't be afraid to ask questions, because at the end of the day, this stuff, which is why we did this video, a lot of this stuff costs. A lot of this is very expensive. So it's better for you to ask a question via, all right, look, I've been doing research and I found these two belts. Based off of X, Y, and Z, why would you pick this over this and yada, yada, yada? That's a legitimate question. That shows me, all right, this person is definitely, they're in the right ballpark, they're fishing around the right thing. But don't come with the, all right, this one or this one. What does that mean? Just pick which one. If you ain't gonna go down the rabbit hole and be like, all right, I like this belt buckle system because it's smaller and thinner, and I know that I'm not going to be repelling off of something, versus this one that's a little bit bigger and bulkier and designed for you to repel off of something. But again, if you're, a Leo, something like that, hey, look, just go ahead and just pay the premium, okay? Make sure you keep the receipt. It's a tax write-off.
Right. So I guess if people are asking what I got, so this is a Condor H harness, and so it's connected to a US GI one-piece belt. And so on this side here, again, this is not done at all. This is gonna get more work. So on this side, again, in case I have to speed reload, I have a Spirit Systems JSTA pouch. So I got one rifle, one pistol. It has a soft cloth insert. If you do want a hard, like Kydex insert, so where it's open, you can go to Lunar Concepts and they make something for this. What I did was also, between the Velcro, I took this Ferro Concepts little pouch.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even notice that.
Right, and I stuck it right here, so this is a good place. You can put like a little writing range if you wanted to.
So now he can do note gathering. He can do observe and report type stuff.
And then I also have this awesome kind of medium, smallest GP pouch here. I can put other items in as well. Exactly. Because again, this is not meant for fighting, getting hella mags out of it. This is for sustainment, like items, range fighter, things like that. Spirit is GP tall. Again, I can stuff all kind of stuff in here. Got two pouch, big open pouch here, pouch on the front. Now this, I got off Amazon, I think it's a Firefield Fox or some shit like that. It's a butt pack. Again, allows me to carry more items, like food, more water, whatever you just fucking need, like poncho. It has other loops where I can, like, again, if I want to put a poncho liner up top, so I can get to it real quick, I can stash it up here, tighten it down. And it has wallet too if I want to add other pouches.
And notice, like Thomas said, he bought it off Amazon. We're not always knocking stuff on Amazon, but we've went through enough of the fluff for us to, when we look at certain things on Amazon, we can tell, all right, yeah, that's worth me investing my money into, or nah, that's just some gimmicky shit.
Right, exactly, because again, this isn't,
because at the end of the day, it's just nylon.
Right, exactly. So again, Spirit Systems mutant pouch. So this has a little pocket here, so if I want to put water, or radio, I can. Another pocket here for GP, just to carry shit. Like if I want to carry my nods, I can carry my nods in here.
Is that wait? Oh, that's sick. I didn't even notice that.
And then this is two little laser cut molly. So if I want to attach a pouch here, I can. So let's say I want to keep this for my water, and keep an algae bottle here, and I can put a radio pouch here, or some shit, or a tourniquet pouch, or a multi-tool pouch. Right, and then my pistol.
Shout out to Spirited. So they definitely think when they come up with stuff.
Oh yeah, shout out to Spirited. So again, guys, like we said, all this comes down to training. Now this shit matters what you have if you don't train with it.
Yep, because at the end of the day, all these are just tools. At the end of the day, you're the weapon. Just like me and Thomas sitting here, we're the weapons.
Exactly.
I can throw on his belt and be just as dangerous as if it was his, and vice versa. So get out and train.
So if you want help training, you can come train with us here in Jacksonville, Florida, K&A Accessories. If you also want to support the channel, You can go on the link in the description box, buy a t-shirt, support the channel, join on Patreon, and donate to the channel, which also helps. But like we said, you can also come train with us. Bring your gear and actually put it to the test and see what works for you. But on top of that, LocsNLoad Firearm Reviews, Undead Prophet, coming to you with another video. And until next time, stay educated, stay dangerous. We're out.
Bye, guys.